10:30, we're going to start this meeting. Should we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will help people keep them? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, here we are once again. Lewis and Clark Lincoln Government Day, December 5th, 2025. I am Candace Payne. I am the chair of the Lewis and Clark County Commission. To my left is Tom Rolfe, County Commissioner.
Good morning.
To his left is Roger Baltz, the CAO. And to his left is my old friend Dan Flynn. No, Dan? Carla. How can I get that? This man, the first day I was in the commission, in that fancy room in the city county building, I'm walking along, coffee in my hand, and I tripped, fell down, and you know who picked me up and rescued me? And I can't even get his name right. I'm sorry. I'll do better.
It's my job to fly under the radar.
What's that?
It's my job to fly under the radar.
Okay. To my right is Andy Hunthausen, County Commissioner of many years. And to his right is Brent Colbert,
Undersheriff.
Undersheriff. Okay, it wasn't mine. Yes, it is. Oh, I can't take this. We had to put my husband's daughter down yesterday, and that's the vet. Okay, and I introduced him. Forest Service, Jim.
Me?
You.
Eric, Seidensticker. I'm back.
Eric.
Eric, okay.
Yeah.
You're back. I'm glad you're back. MBAC.
I'm back.
That's
You're on
right.
the board. Montana Business Assistance Connection.
You see, getting old just sucks. However, that way I make a lot of new friends every day. Okay, we will start off. We've done the Pledge of Allegiance. I've done the introductions as best I could. We will have reports. Is there, did I forget anything else? What? Ann. Well, Ann McCauley is here. Hi, Ann.
Good morning.
She is the queen of the grants. She can find money where nobody else can. Is there anybody else here that I'm not paying attention to from county government? Oh, okay. Now can I? Okay. First report. Sheriff report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Morning.
We have to go up to the podium
that's right.
and speak into the microphone. This is a very formal occasion. Well,
Sheriff wishes he could be here. He is on other business. He is traveling back from Reno right now as we speak. But he wishes he could be here. To give you a report of the Sheriff's Office, we have hired 3 more deputies, and they are going to be starting staggered out towards the end of this month. So they'll be starting training, which is good because that leaves us at full staff. That would put us at full staff of sworn deputies, which is a good thing to have now. Better thing is we have a detention center who has been severely understaffed for quite some time, still going to be, but I'm proud to say that we have 10 people that are in some sort of stage of background investigation, that kind of thing. So we're hoping by the end of this month, we'll have 10 of those 30 slots filled, which is awesome because we haven't had that for quite some time. So that is a very good thing. Hopefully we'll have some more. We're continuing hiring. We tried something new of having an open board, open hiring. So we tried that last month and it worked out pretty good because that's where we got 5 of the 10 people that we're going to be hiring. So we're going to try that again in the new year. So hopefully that'll continue to help and help our very overly worked detention staff that we have doing a hard job. So local here in Lincoln, we have Chance Hill, Deputy Chance Hill, who is up here. He went and got himself injured. So he will be out for a while, but that doesn't leave you out. We will have coverage, same as we always have. You'll see different deputies. Also starting in the new year, we will have 2 other, and they're not new deputies, but they're gonna be new to up here, and kind of not really. So Alicia Bragg, you might have remember her. She was a highway patrol before she came to the good side. She now works for us, and she has put in for the next year, the upcoming year, to work in this area, the Augusta area. So she is familiar with this area, maybe familiar to you, I don't know. She was up here for quite some time on highway patrol, so she knows the area and some of the people. We will also have another deputy that's not a new deputy, but new to being up here for the next year. You will see them at the next government meeting, government day meeting, next month. Sheriff will bring them up there and we'll reintroduce you to them. So they will be up here. Don't know how long Chance Hill will be out. He broke something in his arm, so he will be out until that gets fixed, but he will be back as soon as he can. So, open for any questions that you might have for the sheriff's office.
Any questions? I'm just so thrilled with the applicants for the detention center. That's been a huge problem for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, and just for some background, I've been doing this for 30 years, and you can see that in the detention center all the time for the whole 30 years, is it'll do this.
Oh.
You'll get some people, you'll not, and they'll go away. And I'm sure it'll go back to that, but hopefully we can get up to full staff before it decides to do that. So,
Okay, great.
thank you.
One question for
sure.
you, Red, when is part of the reason the folks from the detention centers sometimes get advanced into other positions, or?
Correct. That is, Commissioner, that is completely correct. And most of the time that is good when we steal deputies from the detention center. And that's a good thing, because we know how they work. We know that they're putting in 100%, and we'll bring them over and make them deputies. So thank you, Commissioner. That is good. When we can do that, that's awesome. And when we can have people who decide that that very hard job is something that they want to do for a career, that's even better. So, thank you.
Okay. Is there a report from the community council? Seeing none. Forest Service report, Jim.
Thank you, Commissioner. Jim Yarrow, Lincoln District Ranger, Lewis and Clark National Forest. You'll see a couple things. We are burning piles. We're burning slash piles and hand piles. You'll see smoke coming out of Hogan today, Beaver Creek yesterday, Copper today, Copper last week, Willow Creek Decision, which is Dalton Mountain area. We're going to start touching on landing piles there, not just hand piles. So there will be taller flames and more smoke. We usually do that later on in the season. They did one yesterday because it was cover clouds.
Could you tell me the difference between a landing pile and a hand
A
pile?
hand pile is a slash pile that's built by human hands. A landing pile is built with equipment. And landing piles can be the size of this building.
Oh,
Hand
okay.
piles are typically smaller.
Okay.
You know, 8 foot by 8 foot, 10 foot by 10 foot, something like that.
Hey, I'm from eastern Montana. I'm a flatlander. So thank you.
So landing piles are quite a bit bigger, and you can see the flames. You look like, you'll see them on Dalton Mountain and so forth, but we typically don't do those unless there's snow on the ground. So those will come later in the season. The bigger ones will. So that's happening right now. Today as we speak, actually, we have people out there burning. We did open all the gates for snowmobile use. There's not quite enough snow yet, but with the next week's forecast, I think there will be after that. So the gates are open and ready to go. We got help from the snowmobile club doing that. So that's a good thing, I think. Firewood cutting, we're finding there's some firewooders that are leaving their mess in the road, leaving the roads blocked, the ditches blocked, the pipes are smashed, the inlets are smashed, the outlets are smashed. So be a little more careful when you're moving firewood. If you know anybody who is, That way we can put your tax dollars to something more useful than repairing a mess up there. Right now it's Beaver Creeks, where they're currently operating anyway. That's where we're finding the problems. Illegal motorized use is a big deal. The judges are still shutting down timber sales based on illegal motorized use. I know people think they can go do whatever they want when they want, but as long as the judge keeps hearing about the illegal motorized use, he's going to continue to shut timber sales down. The Kootenai just got shut down. So, heads up on that. If self-police, maybe, if you know some people, maybe educate a little bit. We're just taking tax dollars away from the community when they do that. So it's not helping matters. That's it. That's all I have in the report, ma'am.
And that's an interesting report. I wasn't aware that the road use impacted the judge's decisions. Amazing. I mean,
So when the judge tells the Forest Service, you gotta monitor your illegal motorized use. Does anybody know how much illegal motorized use takes place
a lot. You
on a
got a
national
lot.
forest?
Yeah,
More than we have people to monitor,
sure.
right? And so they're always gonna find something that we missed. Oh, you didn't do what we told you to do.
It makes it more challenging.
It does, it
Okay.
does, it does.
Job security.
And then it's followed up with, what are you doing about it? Right, that's the next thing, that's the next shoe to drop. So we're working on that. Some help from the public would be great.
Or video cameras. You know,
Video
put some of
cameras.
them game cameras up out there and,
Yep, yep.
you know, and maybe we could even come up with funding, and don't we have grants for that sort of thing, Ann?
I haven't seen that one come across yet.
Okay, well, just, all right,
Yes, sir.
well,
Jim, I got a question. Brent Colbert, Sheriff's Office. Just, have you burned any of the piles on Dalton Mountain yet, or are those gonna be later, or have you already started?
We've been burning the hand piles from the contractors
Okay.
up there. They did burn one landing pile, I believe, yesterday. I don't know which one it was. But the piles from the fire, they probably won't get to this year.
Okay.
That's my guess. That will be following years too. They got cured.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
okay, well, thank you, Jim.
Thanks.
Seeing no further questions. Public Works report.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. I printed out my list and I left it sitting on my desk.
We are not related, I want you to know, he's gonna be fun when he gets old.
Very good, yes. So, not a lot. From prior meeting, the bridge ends on Dalton Mountain have been graded. Kenny, our man down here, does a good job. Dorothy, we heard there was a mud issue there, or was noted. It sounds like that's been settled up. The ground's healed up pretty good in there now. Guardrail repairs have not yet been started, but they are on the list. Guardrail has a tendency to take a little while to get here when ordered. Potentially starting next week. We also have done some work on the North Beaver Creek Bridge. That was an interesting project that was widened about 4 feet. We added some additional beams as well as some Forest Service style curb to that. There are running planks on it, so please stay on the running planks. We don't anticipate the load rating to be adjusted much, but it may go up or down ever so slightly when the state takes a look at that one. Let's see here. It's also got new object markers, so please don't hit those or shoot those. We appreciate that very much. We have been in the process of designing a pole replacement for that bridge. It is very expensive, and it does not qualify for our typical grant programs. So we're holding off on doing that, but the new redecking and the new beams and whatnot should extend the life of that bridge pretty significantly. So we'll be keeping an eye on it.
Are there load limits on that bridge?
There are
Right
load
now?
limits on that bridge right now, but they're not significantly limited. So
Okay,
all standard traffic can go across that one. Let's see here. Also still looking for another operator here in the Lincoln area to help Kenny out. It is open until filled, so if you know anyone to apply for that, that would be great. We've been plowing and sanding. We do have someone from the Helena side plowing over the top of Stemple down a certain distance to help Kenny out, so he's got more ability to hit the Lincoln area itself. Let's see here. We do not sand the entire road. That's a note here. We sand intersections and icy hills. So that conserves resources as well as makes those intersections safe. Please slow down and drive safely. Obviously, snow conditions. And also, I did intend to bring Brent McCullough. He's our new construction coordinator. He's been with us about 3 months, but he is right in the middle of doing stormwater pollution prevention plan administration training. So he's getting trained up today, so he wasn't able to join us. But
What was his last name?
McCullough, M-I-K-U-L-A.
Thank you.
Yes. He's been a great addition, very knowledgeable. He was a grader operator for 20 years, roughly. But he will not be doing grading. He's working with me and setting up projects, managing projects, things of that nature. So. Okay.
Andy?
Mr. Carlin, just maybe of interest, how bridge load ratings work and our role in that versus state's role in that, and which bridges are what. I think it's just might be of interest or education opportunity.
Certainly, Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunthausen. So, bridge load ratings can get very complicated, but I will not go there with it. So, any bridge that's 20 feet or longer from center line of where it's contacting the foundation to center line of foundation, the state does a bridge inspection on that every 2 years, and they're responsible for creating the load rating of that. What that load rating looks at, it looks at the structure of the substructure, which is the bridge itself, and then the superstructure, which is the bridge itself, and then the substructure, which is the foundation. Those get looked at separately, and then they simulate driving specific trucks across that bridge. Those are like your box trucks, propane trucks, things of that nature. It's a specific configuration with one axle in the front, that's your steering axle, and then 2 axles in the rear. That's called a Type 3 truck. They have different lengths, but they try to maximize the impact, so they're trying to make it heavy and damaging, if you will. So they can evaluate how heavy those trucks can be to drive across that bridge. So when you drive across a bridge that's load posted, it's going to have 3 trucks on it. The top one is the Type 3 truck. It looks like a U-Haul truck, essentially. So that's what most people see. Then there's also a Type 3-3 truck. That is a truck and a pup. So a truck with a long, it's called a stinger, and then a double-axled trailer behind it. Those have their own separate load rating. Those have their own process there. And then there's the Type 3S2, which is like a semi. So we maximize all those out. Those are what are called the AASHTO 3. Those are all federal. So we load rate every single bridge in the county and across the state and the nation based on those 2 trucks. So if there is no load posting, all of those meet the legal definitions and you're good. If there is a load posting that's required for any one of those, they will be specific to that truck type. So there'll be 3 trucks on that sign. Recently, they have added what they call specialized hauling vehicles, or SHVs. Those look just like a Type 3 truck. The configuration is similar, but they add additional axles. So because of those additional axles, they can carry additional weight based on the federal formulas. So most bridges, specifically this one that we're talking about, North Beaver Creek, that is posted for the SHVs. So it will have a different load posting that'll say 4 to 7 axles, 25 tons, or 4 to 7 axles, 29 tons, or something along those lines. So if you count the axles of the truck, if you have 5 axles, you're still limited to that level. So hopefully I didn't get too in the weeds.
Who knew that truck driving was so complicated?
Chair Payne,
Andy?
just a comment on that. I mean, it's really important because when those limits are ignored, that's when we get in trouble. As Mr. Yarbrough was talking about, when people violate the existing rules, then it costs all of us more money. And same kind of thing. So we have a bridge that's rated X and logging trucks go across it and they're way overweight and that bridge gets damaged and that road closes, or we have a Dalton Mountain issue, or other kinds of things happen, and it just costs all of us a lot of money to repair or to replace a bridge in a lot of years. So just a comment, I guess.
Absolutely, if I can add, Chair Payne.
Certainly.
So, bridges are expensive to replace. We just did one that was a 50-foot span structure. And it's, if you break it down by a linear foot cost, it's about $11,000 a linear foot for a 50-foot span replacement bridge. So it's tremendously important, as Commissioner Hunhausen noted, to not exceed those weight limits, because if they're damaged, especially a concrete bridge, there's not really a repair to do. It's a replacement of portions of that bridge. Please follow our load limits.
And,
Go ahead.
okay. Just one more thing. I think you could probably do this mostly by memory, but we have certain bridges that are like 60 to 100 years old, and then, I mean, there's a lot of bridges that are really old, and if we take care of them, they'll last a long time. But just, can you kind of go through that really quick?
Absolutely, Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunhausen. So there, we do have, I want to say there's about 15 that are approaching 100 years old. One of them, several of them are in the Augusta area. I think we've replaced most of the ones down here that are that age. As Commissioner Hunhausen noted, if we do follow the load limits, we do our repairs on schedule, and we make sure that the bridge elements, as we call them, are not damaged or are replaced when they are damaged, they can last a very long time. One specific type of structure is a steel truss. We do, well, the state does very specific inspections called fracture critical inspections on that. So they're looking very specifically for micro cracks in steel, because as steel moves, it gets stressed and has the ability to crack. And when we find those, we need to replace those. And that's overloading is what can cause that prematurely. So taking care of these on time and on schedule definitely extends the life. We designed all our new bridges to be a 75-year design life, and we expect much longer. So,
Thank you.
that answer your question?
Should we have him tell the story on the bird tail road?
That's up to you.
I think it's an important thing to be aware of, because many of us have lived here all our. We've always used that bridge to haul, horses over in a truck, and yeah, it's never been a problem. However, just because it's always worked fine, would you tell of what happened on the Birdtail Bridge and how that came to be the attention of the Montana Department of Transportation and to impact our budget?
Certainly, Chair Payne, Commissioners. So the Birdtail Bridge is over in the Augusta area also. It crosses Flat Creek. It was installed in 1914. It is quite old. It's over 100 years old. It's a steel truss bridge. It is about 50 feet in span, so it's relatively short in the scheme of things. The interesting thing about this, I was doing research on it yesterday actually, is it's 16 feet wide from curb to curb. And the reason it's 16 feet wide from curb to curb is in 1914, what vehicles were crossing that? There was wagons and horses and maybe an occasional automobile. That is the biggest reason why our older bridges have load limits. They were not designed for a 40,000 ton or a 40-ton vehicle to cross it. Wasn't even a thought in their head. So as we've advanced and built bigger, heavier, larger vehicles, those bridges still need to be managed to handle adequate loads or loads that don't exceed what they can take. So that's a big deal. What happened on Birdtail is the state was out there doing their standard inspection, and they watched a unloaded hay truck drive across and park, knowing that that hay truck probably had a load of hay on it going the other direction. So we got a letter from the Department of Transportation that we shall close that bridge until we can remedy the situation of oversized loads crossing it, because it has a 5-ton weight restriction on it. So we designed a serpentine situation.
But in the meantime, it's the only way to get out into that community.
Yes, absolutely. So we did not close the bridge. We devised a solution to allow local traffic that did not allow those larger trucks to be able to navigate across that bridge. In the meantime, we worked, this was Kevin Horn tremendously instrumental in this, worked on getting an agreement with the adjacent landowner to allow one of our bridges to be installed there. A lot more to that story, but
Temporary.
It's a temporary.
Yep, it's got a 6-year life, or 6-year agreement, so we can replace that bridge in that span of time. That will allow their larger vehicles to cross. It's not open to the public, but it's open to the landowners that need to get those heavier loads across, ranchers, propane trucks, garbage trucks, things of that nature.
I just think that is, well, and of course you can imagine when we had our Augusta meeting, the next meeting, okay, you got that serpentine in there, there's 3 of these big ranchers come stomping in. What the hell are you doing? We can't get our hay trucks in there. And they were not happy because they had always used that bridge and they had always put their hay trucks across it. Times change. Okay. Any other questions for? Yes.
Questions, if I could add to what Andrew said. Enforcement.
Wait. Get up there so that you're being recorded.
Under Sheriff Brett Culver again. What Jim was talking about, people out in the forest running around illegally, what Dan's talking about going over there, although we're not the primary enforcer of those regulations and MCA codes and federal, all of that. We do work with all of our partners, to include the MCS, the motor carriers, which I believe one lives here in Lincoln. We did that with Dalton when people were seeing logging trucks and all that going across a bridge that outdid the limit that was put on there. We can certainly take those calls, but we are gonna make sure that we pass them on to our people who do enforce those. And we did that on Dalton, we do that in the forest quite regularly. So if you do see that, please let us know, please let them know, and we can make sure that the people who are doing that get what they need to get. Thank you.
Thank you. That is the end of the Public Works report. Okay, and it was a good one. All right. Now, is there anybody from Public Health here? I don't see anybody. However, under other business, we have Eric Seidensticker from the Montana Business Connection to report on the situation with the high country update. And I'm sure we're all quite waiting with bated breath. Introduce yourself so that it's on the record.
Yeah, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Eric Seidensticker, Seidensticker, just as it sounds. Again, I'm with Montana Business Assistance Connection, MBAC for short. Chair and Commissioners, before I get going, I just kind of a logistics question. So I'm here today on the agenda as an update from MBAC. We also have here with me Jeff and Chase, who are owners of High Country. I'd like to then have the opportunity to speak to the operations, and then Miss Anna McCauley, who I have an awesome ride up with, is here to maybe talk about the housing project, which is a separate thing. So I can kind of give MBAC's spiel, and then if there's other parts I may call on them, if that's okay. I
think that's fabulous. The more
Perfect.
information we can get, the more misinformation is out there. So let's.
All right, thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So I just want to really kind of back up a few years to 2019. I stood in this room for the first time when I was being told that I was going to be working with High Country, and that was during, at that time, the transition from the founder of the company to a new owner. So long story short, MBAC is kind of in the realm of, as you know, finding financing for businesses and trying to support the community at large. We had talked to the county at that time about applying for a community development block grant, economic development, CDBG, ED for short. That program is housed at the Montana Department of Commerce. And why MBAC had to come to the county for that is because that program requires the local government to, kind of in layman's terms, sponsor, so to speak. So I had started to go through that application process. Right around that time, Ann had come on, and we had applied for the funding in the amount of $400,000. And the funding was approved at that time, and it was made available to the county in the form of a grant, but the funding cannot be then used as a grant to the business. So the workaround with that is that the funds, after they pass from the county to MBAC, it has to move through the county's general ledger and all that good stuff. We then take those funds and we put them into the Lewis and Clark County Revolving Loan Fund that MBAC manages on behalf of the county. So at that time, we had taken that money and that flow and had done a loan to the business for working capital. And at that time, the working capital was used to buy packaging and labeling and beef and raw material. And the first thing I want to point out today is the performance of that loan. We are current with the business. The business has never missed a payment with us on that loan in particular. They've done a great job, keeping up with the payments, even during some times during COVID and when, business was kind of slowing down. So as of the date of today, though, we have placed that loan on deferral in an effort to kind of help the business get a little bit of breathing room. That decision to put that on deferral kind of came from talking with the owners, our banking partner here in Lincoln at Citizens Alliance Bank, and ultimately MBAC's Independent Loan Review Committee approved that request and gave them a 12-month deferral on that loan. So we will be, after that's done, there will be roughly about a year left of payment, and then that loan will be paid off as far as I'm concerned. The sustainability part for us is that as High Country has paid back that money to us since 2019 to now, we have recapitalized the county's revolving loan fund, and we have rolled that money back out into the county to make other loans. So I go back to that thinking that it was a good investment into the business and for MBAC and for the business community. So that's just kind of an update specifically on that. Over the years, we've had a few more partners come be involved with High Country. The Montana Department of Commerce has been extremely instrumental in helping with the business through grants or other loan opportunities, and MBAC, another role that we play is we're kind of a conduit to the state and Department of Commerce as well. So we've used some monies that have come from Department of Commerce, not MBAC, to the business over time. Another one of our partner organizations out of Havre, believe it or not, Bear Paw Development Corporation, which kind of in layman's terms is like a sister organization of ours that serves the High Line. You might be wondering why they got involved. Well, a few years ago, we entered into a contract with Bear Paw for money from the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development to specifically help meat processors and value-added manufacturers. So with that, having High Country in our backyard, we went, that will be a great use for High Country, and Bear Paw Development Corporation helped purchase some automation equipment that is in the plant that I know the commissioners saw a while back when we did a tour. So more investments have happened, but we, along with the Department of Commerce and Bear Paw, have given them deferrals. Bear Paw has given a deferral on loans made available to the business, as has the Department of Commerce. So our three organizations have all kind of agreed that it was in the best interest of the business to give them some cash flow relief as they work through things. The last thing I'd like to say, though, we have actually made a new loan, though, to the business from MBAC. So our first endeavor was to get all the existing capital kind of on deferral from our side of things, and then we worked with Jeff and Wyatt here to kind of look at really what are the needs right now. And I think the biggest need, yet again very similar to 2019, was purchasing more raw inventory. So we went back to the MBAC Loan Committee and asked for a very similar request to fund the purchase of raw inventory. So about a month ago, I was up here counting raw beef that had come into the business. And I go home and tell my wife at night what I do today. And when I told her I was counting raw beef, she just said, I don't want to know. But anyway, but that, I mean, that, if you think about it, buying the raw product and going through the value-added process, that's how you make jerky. So again, our organization has helped them. Ann and I were just up there counting inventory again, and seeing the product being processed again. And I'll let the owners speak to some of the changes in distribution and things of that nature. But we do have some more funding out there as of today to help with things like that. So just to, again, kind of summarize, I mean, we've been involved since the transition in 2019. We've stayed involved every year. I tend to think we've done something to try to help to keep it going, because I get a little owly, maybe for lack of a better term, when I hear people say, "Well, just shut it down and move it." To move that plant to anywhere else in the state would be the most uncost-effective move that I could think of, because of the cost to build a brand new USDA inspected facility, and the revenues that would be needed to sustain that level of investment. I just don't think it would be done. So I think from us and our organization standpoint has been to keep it here, keep it moving, and do whatever we can to help. So with that, that's kind of where MBAC has been, and if there's any questions for me, I'm happy to answer it, or if you have any directly for the owners, I'm sure they're here to kind of speak to the operations and things of that nature.
I'm very interested in this. I'm very pleased with your decision to support it staying in this community. We need steady jobs. It's the seasonal stuff that is the usual lumber, firefighting, or snowmobiling. It's hard to run a year-round community, and this business has certainly given strength to the community of Lincoln by employment. And if you moved it to, say, Billings or wherever, all those people who are employed here would no longer be employed here. So this is great. Mr. Hunthausen.
Mr. Seidensticker, thanks. Appreciate the explanation, the recap. That was really good. It helped me to fill in the gaps of my memory over the years, so that was really great. I'm just curious about the new loan. Is it out of the same revolving fund? Or is it different pot of money? I'm just curious.
The county's revolving loan fund.
Okay.
We used it again.
Yeah, great. And then I was wondering about that fund. You stocked it with that $400,000 initially. Do we have any opportunity? I can't remember. You probably explained this to me before, but I don't remember. Do we have any opportunity to go after more and to expand that fund via another grant from Commerce or others? I'm just curious. This is kind of off.
No, Madam Chair, Commissioner. Short answer is yes. It really comes down to the type of project, because these funds from the Department of Commerce that we use they're tied for two things: job creation or job retention. So in 2019, we really stressed the importance of, keeping the jobs here in Lincoln. In recent years, we have, worked with Ann in the county to use CDBG ED, again, for other projects. We did one that was actually on the grant side for a nonprofit, which is a little bit different. But we can continue to use it as an opportunity to kind of replicate similar types of projects, as long as there is a job creation, a job retention component, and that, those jobs being created kind of meet eligibility criteria that is established by the Housing Urban Development Department of the federal government. So every year, HUD puts out demographic data for kind of like what household income is and things of that nature. If we're working with a potential applicant, we have to use that data to kind of see, like, okay, are the jobs you're creating going to benefit people that kind of fall within that income class? If it's a manufacturer that's creating 25 jobs and everybody's making $100,000 a year, it's probably not the best fit for them. But in this case, we've used CDBG ED in the county and across our region to help kind of like entry-level jobs or jobs in rural areas where wages aren't quite as high and things of that nature. So to kind of sum it up, yes, we would love to continue to use it more. It's just there's kind of a time, place, fit, and finish depending on the type of the project.
Get a little more chipping. So it's project or effort-based. It's not like, hey, there's a pool of money, we can just go chase it. You have to have, you're going to be putting it to use. I get it.
Could I get one quick example? Very, very noticeable one. We did the very same process with the city of Helena with the Union Restaurant in Helena, because of the jobs that they were creating there were kind of entry level. things of that nature. So it was a startup business. They were creating jobs, and we were helping kind of with the same working capital needs.
Can we hook them in as a beef supplier?
Yeah. It's a small realm. No, it's a great idea. Yeah. So
Okay,
one more thing.
one more, but then I've got one I need to clarify. Andy, go for it.
First of all, thanks. I really appreciate the work that you've done, because I think all of us are on the same page in terms of saying, we want the plant to be successful. We want them to stay here. We want to provide jobs and economic impact to the community. And we alone, county, didn't have, without the partner of our Economic Development Corp, we didn't have an opportunity to do that. So really appreciate the partnership and Ann and making this happen. And I think that we've been pretty committed to try and keep things here, and I don't think that's changing much, and trying to keep the plant open. So I know I am. I just wanted to let you know that I really appreciate the efforts that you've made, and looking forward to hearing from the owners and from Ann here. So
thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I'm fairly new at this. So the county revolving loan fund, which was the basis of the initial $400,000,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so that gets paid out and used, and then how does money get, revolving indicates to me that money's gonna get put back in there, and has it? Has the $400,000 been
Just so
revolved?
Chair Payne, in 2019, the term of that loan was for 7 years.
Okay.
So we, as of right now, are on year 6. We were just about to enter the last year. So all of the payments that High Country has made to MBAC, we segregate the principal and the interest, and the principal from the payments goes back into that revolving loan fund. And then from there, it is then used to further support other
Yes.
applications that come to the organization.
I was wondering how we keep it as revolving, so it isn't just.
Every borrower goes through the same exercise, and that's the revolving side of it. Is we lend it out, it comes back in. We lend it out, it comes back in. When the money, I think what I've learned over time, is it revolves back enough times. There's this question of, does it lose its federal strings? What is the status of that money? And that money and that fund has revolved back over the course of 35 years. I mean, the fund is I think it was established in the late 80s or the early 90s. So it's been around a very long time. We've had the agreement with the county back to our Gateway days, which Commissioner Hunthausen probably remembers when we were a different org. But anyway.
Actually, I remember that too, because one of my law partners was involved in that.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's, thank you for clarifying that. Did you have something, Tom?
Yeah, I just thought maybe to put a little fuller face on it. Where are some of the places that money has gone to after these folks paid? You don't have to tell us the names of the businesses, but what kinds of businesses have gone to?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Chair, Commissioner Rolfe, we have used that fund to help restaurants, other smaller manufacturers in Helena. We've used it to help a mechanic shop in East Helena. I believe we've used it to help one of the grocery stores in the county. The benefit of that fund is that the entities or the industries that we can make a loan to out of that fund, it's very nimble as compared to some of the other funding that we have, which says we can't lend to certain types of businesses. But we've used it for just about every type of operation you can think of: startups, manufacturers.
But basically in our community.
All in the county. It is geotagged for businesses inside of Lewis and Clark County. We also have one for Broadwater County. We have one inside the city of Helena. We have sometimes used both the city of Helena's revolving loan fund and the Lewis and Clark County RLF. But yes, they are designated for activities inside of the county.
Okay. I just think that's important for people to know how that money is being used and how important it is to the rest of the economy.
Yeah, it has been a very, very powerful tool. And we have used it, like I said, for decades. It's older than I am. It really is. I mean, that fund is older than I am. And in fact, High Country was a recipient of of an award out of it in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's helped High Country several times.
Great.
Good.
Okay, any further questions? Then why don't you introduce your guests?
Yes. So
One
I
at a
have
time.
here. Okay. Yeah. You're, want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wyatt Nielsen. I'm one of the owners of High Country. Before I dive into all of the exciting things that we've been doing, I want to take a second to just say a big thank you to many people. I think one of the beautiful things about Montana, I'm blessed to call Montana home my entire life and plan to stay here, is people in Montana still helping their neighbors. I think that's unique as opposed to other places. And when we really needed help this summer, there was many people who stepped up and came to the plate and helped us in ways that would have drastically changed the conversation that we're having today without, I would say. So I want to give a special thanks to Brian, Eric, and Charmaine at MBAC, Trish at Bearpaw Development, and then Shane and the entire team at Citizens Alliance Bank as well. I also want to thank all of the employees who came back to work in July and have continued to help keep the operations going and continue to keep the machine moving over the last several months. If you see them in the community, give them a thanks for me. Maybe give them a hug. They probably need a hug. They've been through a lot and they stuck with us even when they probably shouldn't have. So we are grateful for that. If I may, I'd love to give, I don't think we've done an effective job of communicating with you all over the last couple of years. So I'd love to give just a quick little history of where we've been and where we are and where we're going.
Thank you.
And
We need that information.
Yeah, I hope we can be more involved in these meetings in the future, as involved as you would like us to be. So our group, we acquired majority ownership of High Country in 2 years ago, almost to the date actually, fall of, or December of 2024, or excuse me, 2023. In the next calendar year, 2024, we invested heavily in the company. The company, when we acquired our ownership of it, it was, I would say, lacking access to capital. There was quite a bit of debt, thanks to some amazing programs as well. But there was just a general lack of access to capital, and I would say it needed some new opportunity and needed some fresh life put into it. And so over the next 12 months, we had invested heavily in the company. We put about $4.5 million between our own cash and some different loan programs, investing in a multitude of things. I would say most of which revolved around some revenue projections that were built by a partner of ours at that time, and who was the head of sales. And so we invested in those, we staffed up, we had a lot of folks both here in Lincoln and in our office in Bozeman. And over the course of the next 12 months throughout 2024, by the end of 2024, none of those projections had come to fruition. We hadn't achieved any of the opportunities that we were told would happen, and so that left the company in a difficult position. We had overhead that we couldn't support. In addition to that, we unfortunately found out that individual was helping themselves to company dollars that weren't theirs, and helping themselves to company property and selling it to other businesses.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. So anyways, that's a year ago at this point. That individual was let go from the company, obviously. And that through that transition, we brought in a new sales team with the goals of, okay, there's still, the High Country brand is and always has been strong. The selling it doesn't seem to be an issue. I think following through and delivering on the promises and staying focused maybe was a bit of an issue at one time, but selling it has not been difficult. So we went out and hired some new sales folks and spent the next 6 to 7 months throughout 2025 trying to rebuild and stabilize. And the truth is, the hole was just too deep that we had dug in 2024. And the overhead of the company was just too great, too large, that we could not support it with the sales efforts that we were able to generate in the first half of 2025. That led us to July, when we had to, unfortunately, make a correction. I think it's never fun to have to lay folks off. It's not why we got involved in this business. I hope that nobody in this room ever has to look people in the eye and tell them that they don't have a job anymore. It's truly a terrible thing to have to deal with, especially when you know you've put your heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into the business to try and avoid it. But it happened, and I think it gave us time to breathe and to make good decisions on what to do next. And really, I will say that in the first part of July, we didn't have a clue of what that would be. We were potentially looking at selling the company. We were potentially, like a bankruptcy filing could have happened. Who knows? There was a multitude of options to us, none of which, to be honest with you, looked like continuing forward. It just didn't seem like there was a great path towards a profitable, healthy company. But that's where folks like Eric and MBAC came in and stepped up and were just hugely impactful in that. And the other person that I want to give a huge thank you to is Michelle Arthur. She is the Director of Merchandising at Town Pump. As you probably all are aware, Town Pump is the largest customer for High Country. It represents 20% of our business, I would say, of our revenue. And what came about through July is an evaluation of the overhead of the company, the distribution of the products, and how can we do this? How can we get it back to where it's healthy and profitable and sustainable and productive part of the community? So what we did is we looked at our distribution of our products, which historically has always been done under the High Country umbrella. We had our own DSD, direct to store distribution network. We had route drivers, we owned vans, and there were 6 when we owned it. There were 6 of them. I think maybe there was more in the past, but as of recent, there were 6 drivers who would cover the whole entire state of Montana, and that's a big task, especially when you just carried one brand. I'm sure the distribution game is a very tight margins, and when you look at distributors on a national level, they operate off razor thin margins, and they distribute thousands of products. We distribute one. So we came to find out that we were spending upwards of 25% of our revenue on costs on operating the route drivers, which is not sustainable. So we ultimately ended the distribution of our own products, which left us with how do we serve all the convenience stores, the Town Pumps and other convenience stores, other customers, grocery stores across the state of Montana that have supported High Country. And so we made a call to Michelle at Town Pump, and she said, you need to work with McLean. McLean is our distributor, and what is typically a 6 to 10 month process, we were able to get done in 2 to 3 months with her help, with the help of McLean. So we are very excited and proud to now be distributed by McLean. If you don't know who McLean is, they are one of, if not the largest distributor in the United States, especially in the convenience store space. They distribute $51 billion worth of product annually to 110,000 locations across the country. So we are incredibly excited that we were able to move so quickly. I think there's a lot of brands that never even get a response back from McLean. And we were able to get that done expeditiously, and it honestly saved the company. I think I can confidently say that without that.
About $750,000 a year.
Yes, yeah, so we were able to, my other partner, Jeff Edwards.
I think he should introduce himself. Come up, make it part of the record. We are required to record these meetings because the taxpayers sometimes want to know what's going on. And so please,
I'm Jeff Edwards. I'm also an owner at High Country.
Jeff,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you. All right.
And what I was just adding into Wyatt's very capable description of where things are was that we were spending upwards of about $800,000 a year in the route drivers, which is ridiculous when you look at the total revenue number. It never made sense. But so now we're doing business with a Berkshire Hathaway owned business that's national, that we start with them in Montana, but have made a commitment to take us across the United States.
So this will help your distribution? You'll be able
It
to have,
saved us about $750,000 a year and gave us access to doors that we never have had opportunity to get to.
how exciting.
I had mentioned we were spending upwards of 25% of our revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That went down to 4% with McLean.
Well, that's awfully efficient.
So,
Oh, thank you for coming up, Jeff.
so that was a big deal, and that all, we started shipping product to McLean 45 days ago now, I believe, roughly in that zone, and we've delivered 5 shipments of product to them. Since then, we're trying to be on a weekly delivery to McLean. Every Friday, we try and ship product into their, I believe it's outside of Seattle is their distribution center, but then it goes on a truck and comes right on back, but that's for them to deal with. It's out of our hands at that point. And so Town Pump is back to being serviced. I will say that they want more product, and so we've been working closely with McLean to make sure that they're staying stocked, and that's all seems to be very productive and healthy. And we've also onboarded with a couple other distributors. Town Pump works with McLean, and McLean seems to service the big national accounts, right? They do Walmart, they do Sam's Club, and Albertsons, and Safeway, and Town Pump. But then there's a whole host of others, independent and smaller specialty convenience stores across Montana. Mountain View Co-op is an example. So most of them, we've come to find out, work with a company called Doyle Sheehan out of Missoula and Spokane. They're another distributor, and so we've since onboarded with Doyle Sheehan and are now distributing products to them almost on a weekly basis. They come through, they're great. They've got a warehouse in Missoula and are constantly back and forth along Highway 200, so they're just coming through town and picking up product as they need it, which is great. It saves us on shipping and them on shipping, and it's good for everybody. So on top of that, I think, as Jeff kind of mentioned, we have a tremendous opportunity with the distribution network now that we're able to tap into. McLean services 110,000 doors. Doyle Sheehan services, I want to say it's around 9,000 doors across the entire Pacific Northwest and Rockies. We're also engaging with Core-Mark, who's another, I would say, number 2 to McLean. I think it's good to just have our product in multiple distributors. It seems like the convenience stores seem to bounce around a little bit with who they work with. So I think it's, for us, we've tried to pursue multiple streams to make sure that no matter who Town Pump is working with, we've got product there, and they can get a steady flow. So that's what we're working on right now, and have been continuing to grow with that. We continue to work on our spice line as well. That's been an impactful part of the business. The jerky spice line, I can confidently say, as much as I thought it was, it is a exciting part of the company, the at-home jerky kits. I get calls, probably too many calls. I bet I've got probably multiple emails just since I've been up here talking to folks who want it and are hungry. I can't tell you how many folks say that the High Country jerky kits are the only jerky kit they use, and it's the only jerky kit they've used for the last 20 years, and they will not switch.
Wow.
So keeping that in stock, and we're excited to be shipping that product again. And so, yeah, that's kind of the state of the union.
I have one question.
Please.
The person who was putting the money into his own pocket, did you call the law enforcement? Did you prosecute him?
No, we don't wish to hurt him. It's not our intention.
No, I'm sure it isn't, but, okay. There was, Jeff wanted to say something. Jeff, you have to get up.
I do want to say, and I was gonna remind him to talk about the dog food.
Thank you.
Talk about the what?
Dog food.
Oh.
I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't know, but the Lincoln plant here is a USDA inspected facility, which is great. But we can only make high country product when we have a USDA inspector. So when we first got involved, we started looking at ways to expand and bring more revenue through the company and continue to utilize the operations and overhead as best as we could. So it was sort of a natural fit that we looked at dog food. And so in 2 years ago as well, we stood up a brand called Elevate Pet Provisions. Elevate Pet Provisions is an air-dried dog food. Turns out it's a very similar process to make air-dried dog food as it is beef jerky. Very same machines, same ovens, same grinder, mixer, etc. Extruding, all of the same. You just don't put seasoning in it, obviously. You put other ingredients, and so we've developed and brought to market a whole new line out of the High Country plant called Elevate Pet Provisions. Minimal ingredients, minimal processing, all Montana beef as much as we can, all United States beef at a minimum, and continue to do that. And fresh produce, fruits and vegetables and all the good stuff, everything a dog needs and nothing they don't. And so over the course of the last 2 years, we've been out selling that product and growing that product, and we are expanding, and we plan to go into Petco in the first quarter of 2026. So we're working towards that and trying to build and make sure that we're ready for that when that comes. And we've built a great online business for that as well. And in addition, we sell it to Murdochs. We sell to all the Murdochs in Montana and all across the Rockies for Murdochs. And so they've been a great partner. And we have some other exciting opportunities there to continue to grow. And we were awarded the #1 new release in dog food category on Amazon with that brand right after we launched. And so I think that's a really exciting opportunity. And what I failed to mention to tie it all together, dog food is not regulated by the USDA.
Oh, so you can actually operate
exactly
on the off season.
On the off or the off shift.
Yeah.
So if we were to, any day that we're not doing USDA and the USDA inspector is not on site, we're able to produce dog food.
Good.
Keep the place running.
Yeah, that's.
Sure. May I have a ask a question?
Tom, go ahead.
Most of my jerky purchases are when I'm doing travel across the state.
Yeah.
And I always go in and I look for your product because I've always really liked it.
Thank you.
What is High Country the only brand name that you use?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Well, I'll just keep looking.
It should be on the shelves now.
Good. Good.
Chair Payne.
Andy? Yes.
So as you speak, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
A problem that may be on the horizon is keeping up. Are you going to be? Do you start getting in all these?
Yep.
All these opportunities? Are you going to be able to? How's your capacity? I mean, are you close? Or
I don't
what
think
level
we're
of
close.
capacity?
I mean, there certainly is a limit, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're close. I think right now we've brought back. I want to say at one time we had upwards of 30 people at the plant, and right now we're operating with 8, and we're keeping up with McLean and Sheehan and others. And so I think we're looking really good right now, and that's just with one shift as well. And so as we continue to grow, we're really only producing jerky not that often right now to be able to keep up with that. And so as we continue to grow, we can add more shifts, we can continue to produce, we could add a second shift or a weekend shift, or trying to fill in the gaps and make sure that our production schedule is as full as possible. So I believe we have plenty of room to grow.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chair.
Yes. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate place or time, but as I recall, you had some help with housing.
Yes.
And we had some say in that. I think, could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I sure can. I may not be the subject matter expert on it, but I know Ann was instrumental in that. So she may be
MBAC
able to
was.
speak more eloquently than I can.
Chair, Commissioners, can Ann and myself tackle that
question?
Certainly.
Before I sit down,
Yeah,
can I
don't
say
sit
one more quick thing?
Yep.
I just want to say thank you to you all for what you said earlier about your desire to keep High Country in Lincoln. That's means a lot, and it's really encouraging to us. We want to be here. When we got involved in 2023, it was our intention to help. That's all I think we've ever tried to do, and I believe we've done a decent job of that. There's certainly been plenty of bumps along the way and things that we may have done differently, but I feel really good about where we're at now, and it's encouraging to hear that you folks want us to stay, and so that feels really good. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all your efforts. Okay, the tag team continues. Yeah, okay, that's right. That's what it was. It was the ARPA fund, yes. And
Good morning, Ann McCauley, I'm the director of the Lewis and Clark County Grants and Procurement Department. And I'll give a little bit of background on these housing units that are with High Country. So using American Rescue Plan Act funding, COVID funding, but one of the specific designations for that funding was to provide affordable housing. And as this community knows well, through the pandemic, real estate prices went up considerably in this community. And housing's always been a limited issue here. And so working with MBAC, High Country came to us at that time and said, we've got a piece of property, it's associated or it's adjacent to where the plant and the gift shop are, that we'd like to put some affordable housing onto. And the county provided $199,700 of our American Rescue Plan Act funding to purchase 3 units, manufactured homes, is that fair to say?
Correct,
Right? So they're manufactured homes, they are on permanent foundations. One is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, the other are 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And that was to help support workforce at High Country, but also just generally in the Lincoln community. And so we worked with our legal team, we worked with MBAC and High Country. We do have a 5-year covenant or deed restriction that's attached with those units, and they are specific to providing housing for people living and working in Lincoln. And you can kind of speak to what 2 of those units are currently being occupied by High Country employees that are living and working at the plant. And just as of recent, the last few months, the 3rd unit is available, and we'll be working with the High Country folks on seeing if we can get that rented out.
okay. When I first became a part of the commission, I was very impressed. The ARPA funds, you know, because of COVID, and oh my God, we got all this money. The people on this commission decided we're not going to start any new programs. This is going to be a one-time deal. So housing comes into that. So they're not constantly, well, we'll build a homeless shelter and then we've got to have a program so that somebody, and it's a constant drain on the taxpayer's dollar. So ARPA, it was a one-time thing, and this is one of the things that they figured out how to spend it in a timely manner and not continue to drain the taxpayers' pockets. So, good job. You got any comments?
No, absolutely right.
Ian?
Absolutely right. We wanted it to not carry an expense tag forever.
Yeah, and they've done it. So,
Chair Payne?
Yeah.
Maybe just bigger picture, like the ARPA and a little bit of the history, maybe a little bit where it came from, what we did with some of the dollars, because it was quite an expansive program and project that we, and different categories.
Yeah, so
People may be interested. I mean, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of explain.
Chair, Commissioner, yes, the American Rescue Plan Act was the second major bill that came out of the U.S. Congress in response to the COVID pandemic. So the first one was the coronavirus CARES, coronavirus something assistance recovery. I forget what these acronyms were, but and so that was kind of the immediate response. So that was a large portion of funding that came out in 2020. American Rescue Plan Act was passed by Congress in March of 2021, and it provided direct funding to cities, counties, states all across the country, millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Lewis and Clark County was the direct recipient of about $13.5 million We also had access to about $2.5 million that was through the state of Montana, specific for water and sewer development projects, which went to a lot of water and sewer districts in the county. With our $13.5 million, we had a whopping 54 projects that we have funded with those. A number have gone to public works. A number went to initial public health response, it was largely 21, a little bit of 22. And then we've had over $3.5 million, $4 million that have gone to community projects, which this project at High Country is one of those. It also helps support Helen Habitats for Community, the Helen Food Share, other projects within the county. And we're finally at kind of the wind down, so we have 5 years to spend these funds. We have to have them fully expended by 2026, and about $1.5 million more to spend with that, nearly $20 million in all. So it's been a substantial investment we've made in our community.
Yeah, thank you. And that $1.5 million is obligated. It just
It is,
the
yeah.
project hasn't been completed yet, so there's not money available.
No, no money available. Please don't talk about that one. I'll just yeah.
Andy said,
Yeah, I know. I saw him.
No, it's all dedicated to projects. We just have one more year now to fully expend it.
Yeah.
So, it's been a substantial opportunity for our county, but as Commissioner Hain noted, we did it to one-time long-term projects, and those have been really good. We've accomplished a lot with it. We don't have a funding cliff now. So kudos to this commission as well.
Thank you.
Foresight.
and to you.
Is there any further questions for Ann? You know, you folks can ask her too. She works for you. Okay. Thank you, Ann. Did you want to add anything?
Chair Payne, Commissioners, no, just, yeah, we are, committed to keeping the housing project and the covenants going and going back in time, I did have to request a couple extensions on the project because we were getting the units brought in and bringing housing units into Lincoln is not a very easy task with the mountains and some of that. And,
Did these come out of the Bakken? Was that the deal?
So Chair Payne, Commissioners, we purchased these actually from a vendor in East Helena, and I believe 2 of them were from the Midwest Bakken area, and then they were refurbished, they were taken down, new siding, things of that. I can't remember where the third one came from, but anyway, they were brought in, they were rehabbed, so to speak, moved, put on foundations. On the other side of the project, MBAC at that time had also funded the installation of power, the road. I believe they had fiber, internet, septic. So it wasn't just about bringing in the houses, as we had to develop the raw land.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of things in there trying to get that done that took some time too. So that was my first experience in working in housing, and I have a newfound respect for the folks in this state that work on housing because it is a very, very complicated. So
Yeah, and necessary.
necessary.
Think how long the housing will last. And so if you put a septic tank in today, it will impact people in the water for the next 50, 100 years. So I'm glad they're being careful.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for this wonderful report. Further questions? No? Okay. Moving right along. Next meeting is January 2nd, 2026. And they're not going to let me be the chair anymore. Tom will become the chair. What?
So Chair Payne?
Yes.
That, of course, is the day right after New Year's. Would the commissioners like to discuss whether you do indeed want to have that meeting on that day or not while we're here in the community?
We could move both meetings back a week. What would you think about that?
We're going to be working that. I mean, well, yeah, it's fine too. Yeah, we can move back a week.
So we would be here January 7th?
9th, maybe?
9th.
9th, and then go to Augusta on the 16th. Is that?
Just a question, commissioners. What we found over the years is a lot of times people have family obligations or
That's
they're doing vacation-related activities. Not just
Or they're still
not just you
hungover
all,
from
but
the
also-
New Year's. The New Year's bash is still giving them a
Moving
headache.
them a week would be great.
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
still have the meeting, but move them a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
All
that
right.
would work.
Do we need to vote on that, or we'll just tell you to go ahead? What?
Yes, please make a motion.
Chairman, I'd move that we schedule our next meeting, our regular meeting, Lincoln Government Day meeting for the 9th of January. Is that the right date?
Second,
Better.
and you wanna
And-
add
In
the
Augusta, the second, or the third Friday of the month, which is the
16th?
16th.
I'll second that too.
Just a second. I'm still wandering my way through computer world. Did you? Tom checked it? You
Pardon me?
checked it?
Yeah, he's right.
All right. So January 9th
9th,
and
16th in August then.
In Augusta.
and the 16th. Yes. All right, it has been moved and seconded that the next meeting in Lincoln to be held on January 9th, 2026, and the next meeting in Augusta will be held January 16th. Is there any further comment or? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Oop, do I have to ask? I need public comment. They require this.
Sounds good.
Okay, in that case, all those in favor of the new and improved dates indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. By golly, the ayes have it, and we'll be back on January the 9th. That was my Grandma Kane's birthday. Okay. Now, public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above. Oh, yes, Mr. Day.
Roger.
No one else? Roger Day, I'm Vice President of the Upper Black Valley Historical Society, and I'm also on the steering committee for the, I don't know what it's called, they changed it a little bit, tourism grant.
For the what?
So,
Tourism.
a couple of quick things, on the Historical Society side. We did a ribbon cutting on our veteran memorial here. It's been a source of consternation that's ongoing, and I won't get into that right now, but if anyone has any questions, we're having our meeting on December 16th here at 5:30 p.m. So if you have questions, come talk to us. Instead of just posting stuff randomly on Facebook.
Where are you going to have that? Will that be here?
Right, yeah. As far as the tourism grant goes, we're kind of coming down to the wire. They extended the deadline for it, so we got a little bit more wiggle room. We've narrowed things down to our main projects we want to work on, and it's going to require quite a bit of probably consultation with the county on some of them. So I've got some questions for Dan if he has a minute after this. But yeah, we're looking at this actually will I can actually be impacted by this. We're looking at trying to finish our Lincoln Legacy Park over there for the Historical Society, which I think one of you's talked to my wife. We're planning on moving those buildings into town. We just have had trouble raising the money and actually finding people to give us a bid on how much it costs to move. It's been our biggest obstacle right now. And one of the things that's the in-town trails plan is the other big one that was developed during Envision Lincoln, and that's I got a couple of questions that Dan might be able to help me on which direction to go with that. And the other one is kind of a big one, and we do have MBAC helping us out. So we're not just doing this on our own. We've got some support. Is the possibility of creating a community center for more that has more space for meetings and whatnot. That the community hall gets pretty crowded, it's pretty tight, and gets pretty tightly scheduled. So one of the things we're considering doing or working with the county on is possibly doing something here on where the senior center is. Incorporating the senior center into that. It's county property. So I'm not on that particular subcommittee, so I'm sure the folks will be getting in touch with
probably Jenny and whatnot, as things move along. But that's where we're at. We're moving ahead with it. Things are plugging along.
You will be funding this through the tourism?
If we get the grant, it's $2.75 million.
Don't worry about you then.
Through Department of Commerce, so it's not going to affect anyone's property taxes.
Thank you.
But yeah, if anyone has any questions, you know, you can come in and talk to me the rest of your lives. I might not have all the answers, but yeah, it's going pretty well. We haven't had, everyone's been pretty much, we had a meeting here at the school last month. Surprisingly, nobody seemed to have a real connection fit with anything that we were talking about. We were expecting some pushback or some complaints. But the ideas that were brought up by the folks who aren't on this committee reflected everything that we talked about already. You know, it's been plans that have been in the works for, in some cases, 20 or 30 years. It just never gotten done. So yeah, this is funding to get some of them off the ground and moving forward. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have.
All right.
Have any questions for me?
Tom?
I'd just like a little more details. You were saying somewhere near the senior center?
Well, that's because the one thing this grant won't cover is you can't buy property, but we need a spot that has a building that can provide more community access, and it would tie into the tourism aspect because it could bring people in for, you know, conferences or meetings, kind of like they used to do out of the 7-Up branch before it burned down. So it'll mostly be a meeting space, possibly some other office space for things, and the senior center. And I guess if we can, like I said, I'm not on that particular subcommittee, so I'm not really sure who they've talked to yet. But the discussion has been if the county will approve this, the big question is whether or not to just add on to the senior center or just take down the senior center and rebuild a whole new building that incorporates the senior center as part of it, because that building is pretty old.
What's the water and sewer hookup for this building?
I don't know. I know it's got the public water source, and so
There is?
they've got the chlorination system in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are details that need to be worked out that, like I said, it's not really one I'm a part of. I'm working on town trails and the historical society property. But that's about all I can tell you right now. I don't have a whole lot of details on that right now. It's
Am I right? Am I right in saying that is county property where that is?
Yes.
Aha. Good. Did you have something?
Just if I could, Chair, Commissioner Lubeck. So, MBAC is helping with the grant writing component of that. Catherine Anderson in our shop is taking the lead on that. And I believe we need to just have some kind of dovetailed conversations with the county and the staff regarding that property before we hit a submit button that talks about property owned by the county. So I will visit with Catherine when we get back, and we will try to do our outreach to the necessary county staff before we submit that.
Yeah, there is no plan to do anything yet.
Yeah.
The conversations still need to be had.
Yeah.
It all starts with a conversation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But thank you for your coordination here locally too.
Yeah.
Been helpful. So.
And obviously, if that falls through, we'll figure out something different. But
that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Roger?
Chair Payne, just like to say thanks, Roger, because somebody has to spearhead this and be excited about it and take the ball and run with it. And a lot of communities don't have somebody that'll step up and push things forward, because it takes a lot of work and effort to get the community together and do their things. And you can see we have willing partners that'll help out, but somebody's got to kind of be the go-to person in town. So thanks for doing that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we got a lot of folks who are really excited about it, getting stuff moving forward. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any further public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
Okay.